The warning written in stars. Long before Earth invented radio, long before humans learned to split the atom, the galaxy already knew their name. Not humanity. Not Homo sapiens. They were known only as the dangerous ones. No one could remember exactly where the warning began. Some claimed it came from the ashes of a fallen empire that had dared to enslave Earth's ancestors. Others believed it was etched into ruins on forgotten worlds, inscriptions carved by civilizations long since erased. Wherever the story came from, it spread in whispers across the galaxy's oldest archives, carried by traders, mercenaries, and fearful historians. The message was always the same. Do not provoke the humans. Do not enslave them. Do not pursue them. And yet, to many, the words sounded like nothing more than a myth. For most of galactic history, Earth was an insignificant blue marble tucked away in a quiet corner of the Orion Arm. A backwater world with no faster-than-light travel, no starships, no weapons of real consequence. The great powers, the Chiran technocracy, the Zarth Dominion, the Syndicate of Thal, barely even marked it on their maps. To them, Earth was irrelevant, primitive, harmless. But then came the Dominion. The Zarth had ruled through fear for centuries. Their fleets moved like storms, swallowing weaker civilizations whole. Worlds burned, species were shackled, and resistance was crushed beneath their metallic talons. When their scouts stumbled upon Earth, they saw nothing but opportunity, a world filled with unclaimed resources and a bipedal species perfect for manual labor. The Dominion did not hesitate. The invasion came swiftly, silently. A fleet of warships broke through the skies above Earth, their shadow blotting out the sun. Cities trembled under bombardments. Energy nets captured entire populations. Humanity's armies fought bravely but were crushed with ease. Against weapons powered by stars, tanks and missiles were like children's toys. And so, for the first time in their history, humanity was taken from their homeworld in chains. The Dominion thought they had won. They believed the old warnings were just superstitions, dust from forgotten ages. They laughed at the idea that this species could be dangerous. But there were others in the galaxy who did not laugh. Archivists in the Thal Syndicate pulled ancient scrolls from their vaults, whispering in fear. Explorers in the Chiran technocracy exchanged worried glances when they heard the news. Even the nomadic Vayari tribes, who prided themselves on fearing nothing, murmured uneasily around their fires. Because they all remembered the rule. Because they all knew what happened to the last empire that ignored it. And now, history was repeating. The Dominion had crossed the species the galaxy was warned never to cross. The humans had been shackled, caged, and dragged to alien worlds. And the galaxy held its breath. Because the old warning wasn't a prophecy. It was a memory. Chains do not fit. The Dominion thought they had won. Human cities burned, their skies turned black with smoke, and millions were herded into towering prison ships that vanished into the stars. To the Zarth, it was routine, just another conquered world, just another species bent to their will. But humans were not routine. On the first transport ship, the overseers noticed something strange. Most conquered species collapsed into despair, broken by the weight of loss. They obeyed quietly, grateful simply to live. But the humans did not cower. They whispered to each other. They watched. Their eyes followed every guard, every patrol pattern, every weakness. They do not tremble, one Zarth officer noted uneasily. They calculate. At first, small things began to happen. A containment field mysteriously failed. A power conduit ruptured in the lower decks. Tools went missing from maintenance lockers. Guards dismissed it as incompetence, or bad luck. But the incidents kept multiplying. Then came the riots. It started with a single spark, one human attacking a guard during mealtime. But instead of scattering, the others surged forward like a tide. They fought with fists, with improvised weapons, with teeth. The Zarth soldiers were armored and armed, their plasma rifles cutting down dozens, but the humans did not stop. They fought until the air itself stank of ozone and blood. The overseers crushed the revolt, but unease spread through the Dominion fleet. Other slave races never did this. Other species accepted. Yet the humans seemed incapable of surrender. In the labor camps on the Dominion's mining worlds, the problem grew worse. Where the ZTH expected submission, they found defiance. Prisoners sang songs in their strange guttural tongue while they worked, their voices rising against the silence of the mines. They carved hidden symbols into the walls, flags, names, messages of unity. And when one was executed for disobedience, the others did not scatter in fear. They stood taller. "They are different," muttered Commander Zyrith, reviewing reports with growing unease. "Every other race breaks. These multiply in resistance." The breaking point came when a single human slave escaped. The ZTH dismissed it as a minor failure. But within a week, that one human had rallied dozens of others into a guerrilla band in the forests outside the camps. Within a month, supply lines were collapsing. Within 3, Dominion patrols no longer entered the forests at all. And the whispers began. Among the alien traders. Among the mercenaries. Among the rulers of other empires watching from afar. The humans are stirring. The Dominion still believed in their superiority. They deployed harsher punishments, more executions, and tighter controls. But instead of crushing human spirit, every act of cruelty only added fuel to the fire. And then came the moment that shook the galaxy. At a mining colony on the edge of ZTH space, 1,000 humans, armed with nothing but stolen tools and sheer fury, rose against their masters. They overran guard towers, hijacked Dominion dropships, and burned the camp to the ground. When reinforcements arrived, they found not broken slaves but a militia that fought like wolves cornered, like fire uncontained. The ZTH barely escaped with their lives. And the galaxy remembered the warning again. The rule was not superstition. The rule was not myth. The rule was truth. Do not pursue the humans. But the Dominion had already broken it. And now the humans were awake. Whispers across the stars. The rebellion at the mining colony did not stay hidden for long. News traveled fast in the undercurrents of the galaxy. Traders carried rumors in hushed tones, mercenaries swapped stories in shadowy taverns, and smugglers exaggerated every detail until the tale seemed more legend than truth. But the core of it was undeniable. Humans had fought back. On the Dominion High Council's warship, a meeting convened. The council chamber was filled with the harsh glow of starlight, gilded armor, and long shadows. "This is an anomaly," Commander Zyrith growled, his mandibles clicking in frustration. "The humans are a minor, undeveloped species. They should not be capable of resistance at this scale." "Perhaps," one elder ZTH replied, "but resistance exists nonetheless. It spreads like infection." Another counselor sneered. "Infection? They are vermin. Nothing more. Crush them harder." But even as the words were spoken, reports flickered across the holotable. Supply depots destroyed. Prison ships raided. Garrisons wiped out. Humans, barehanded and poorly armed, were overwhelming Dominion detachments through sheer will and ferocity. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion High Council was not united. Doubt had crept in. Meanwhile, far beyond Dominion borders, other empires listened. The Vayari Syndicate, a race of spindly merchants known for turning chaos into profit, smelled opportunity. Their spies recorded human uprisings and sold the footage to the highest bidder. On every shadow network, images of humans rising against their masters spread like wildfire. The Vayari whispered, "These creatures will not stay slaves for long. Perhaps they will buy weapons. Perhaps they will pay in blood or secrets. There is fortune in their fury." The warlike Dravik clans saw the reports differently. Warriors who valued strength above all else watched the shaky hollow footage of humans tearing through armored ZTH with nothing but makeshift blades. They roared with approval. "To fight with no armor, no fear, these humans are warriors born," shouted one chieftain, his tusks gleaming. "The Dominion cannot break them. Perhaps we should test them ourselves." But not all reactions were admiration. The Saraxi Union, a cautious race who survived by avoiding conflict, trembled at the news. If humans could resist the Dominion, then they were dangerous. Too dangerous. And deep within the archives of ancient species who had long since withdrawn from the galaxy's chaos, old records stirred. Tablets and star maps, covered in dust, spoke of a warning repeated through millennia. Do not pursue the humans. Back on Earth, those humans who remained hidden in underground shelters and shattered cities heard the whispers too. Smuggled transmissions and intercepted broadcasts revealed the truth. Resistance was spreading across the stars. Humanity was no longer caged. Among them, leaders began to rise. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, ordinary people turned extraordinary by fire and survival. And one message echoed louder than all the rest. We are not prey. We are not broken. We are human. And we will endure. The Dominion, blind in arrogance, dismissed these whispers as noise. Let them howl, Commander Zyrith sneered, his claws curling against the council table. In the end, they will learn despair. But despair was not what the galaxy saw. The galaxy saw the birth of something it had not witnessed in millennia. A species that refused its chains. A species that fought with a madness that bordered on holy fire. A species that might just tear down the mighty Dominion itself. And for the first time in countless ages, fear spread, not just among the weak, but among the powerful. The galaxy now had two choices. To ignore the warning of history and face the storm head-on. Or to step aside and let humanity's fury carve its own path. Because humanity was rising. And the galaxy was watching. The rule remembered. The Dominion believed themselves eternal. Empires had risen and fallen before, but the Dominion endured. To them, the uprising of humans was a flicker, a small storm against their fortress of stars. They were wrong. On the fringes of Dominion space, a prison transport drifted silently. Its escorts, 3 warships, vanished into sudden fire as a human strike force appeared from the void. The humans were not supposed to have starships, yet here they were, jury-rigged vessels patched together from stolen parts and salvaged wreckage. They called their flagship the Iron Will. It wasn't sleek. It wasn't elegant. But it was human. And behind it followed dozens more, rusted, mismatched, and burning with stolen power. Each one a weapon born of desperation and defiance. When the Dominion fleet moved to intercept, they expected easy victory. Instead, they were overwhelmed by something they had never faced before. Human unpredictability. Where Dominion commanders relied on centuries of strategy, humans broke every rule. They feigned retreat only to ram engines first into warships. They let ships burn only to detonate them as traps. They fought as if every loss was fuel, every casualty a promise. The Dominion's warlord, Commander Zyrith, watched entire squadrons crumble under this madness. This is not war, he hissed. A surviving officer whispered back. It is survival. They fight as if nothing else exists. Across the galaxy, others watched in stunned silence. The Dravik clans cheered with primal joy. The humans burn themselves, but take their enemies with them. This is war as it was meant to be. The Vayari syndicate calculated profits, but even their cold numbers trembled. If humans win, they will reshape the markets of blood and steel. If they lose, they will make the Dominion bleed until there is no profit left. The Saraxi Union debated withdrawal, their voices sharp with fear. This is the warning. The old records told us. No one should provoke them. No one. And in the ancient archives, long-forgotten data flickered awake, as if the galaxy itself whispered. Do not pursue the humans. The turning point came at the siege of Verrick's Spire. The Dominion deployed its greatest fortress world, bristling with weapons, shielded by fleets, designed to withstand 1,000 years of sieges. No species had ever breached it. The humans did not lay siege. They broke it. Smuggling ships carrying human prisoners on board detonated from within. Starving miners, armed with stolen Dominion rifles, rose up in the corridors. Human fleets, patched together, engines screaming, slammed into the planetary defenses with suicidal fury. And then came the weapon the Dominion never understood. Not a bomb. Not a fleet. Not a superweapon. It was human ingenuity. On Earth, long before the Dominion's chains, humans had built weapons of war out of necessity. Missiles, explosives, dirty tricks. In their desperation, the Resistance resurrected old technologies thought primitive and useless by the Dominion. Nuclear fire. Electromagnetic pulses. Kinetic bombardments. Varric Spire was torn apart not by alien brilliance, but by ancient human savagery dressed in new armor. When it fell, the galaxy held its breath. The Dominion High Council assembled in silence. Xyrath, his armor cracked from battle, lowered his head. They are not slaves. They are not prey. They are humans. The chamber trembled as a final report arrived. Dominion fleets across multiple sectors were collapsing, not because they could not match human weapons, but because they could not match human will. Every victory the Dominion claimed only forged the humans harder. Every atrocity committed only gave them more reason to fight. The galaxy finally remembered the rule whispered in ancient times. Do not pursue the humans. Do not enslave them. Do not awaken them. For when you do, they will rise. They will burn everything you are. And they will not stop until the galaxy itself bends or breaks. On the deck of the Iron Will, scarred and battered survivors watched Varric Spire burn in the void. Think they'll leave us alone now? One whispered. The captain smiled grimly, staring into the stars. No. They'll come. But this time, the galaxy knows who we are. Humanity was no longer silent. No longer chained. No longer ignored. The galaxy had its warning, carved in fire and blood. Never cross the species called human.